Hi guys, so it's time for another video of Assault Loam with Slogurk and domain. Okay, so I made a few videos of this deck before, and with slightly different versions. There's a bit more aggro version I made before and 5-0. You can check that out in my tournament results history. And there is this version, which is slightly more mid-range, and I'm playing Omnath here, and Four Furies, and Chalice of the Void, also Slogurks, Live from the Loams, and typical domain stuff like Kabu and Scion. Okay, so I just played the league and did the 5-0, so we'll go together through the games. It was okay. Just one more thing. I removed Ashiok's from sideboard and played the third Force of Vigor and the third Dispute. I thought Ashiok is too narrow, just hating Amulet Titan and a few other decks. But I got into big troubles playing against Amulet, and I went into 3 straight 4-1 leagues, and every single time losing to Amulet. So currently, Amulet Titan is a very often matchup in leagues on MTGO. So uh, I think Ashok is pretty good for this build. Um against the Titan, and yeah, I I experienced it on my own skin, so I'm not removing Ashiok's anymore until Titan gets less popular, something like that. So I used to play from my last 5-0 result. I used to play three Slogurks and four seismic assaults. But for this, just for this league, I replaced third Slogurk with one seasoned pyromancer. I consider third Slogurk as a kind of a flex spot for this deck. So I'm sometimes playing third Slogurk, sometimes trying in some different one-offs, but I'm pretty happy with the side and main. This can also be 25 land if you want it. So it's kind of flex spot. I'm mostly playing third Slogurk in this spot, but Season Pyromancer is also very good. Um, so you can't really do a mistake with this lot. So everything is just everything you put in is okay. And that's it. So it was a pretty weird league. Um but we'll go together through the league and comment it. So, 5-4. This is the first game. Okay, so I can't remember what I played against, but I played first, and this is kind of an awkward hand. Oh yeah, it was the 8-track deck. I did succeed to uh, draw a land here, play my scion, but unfortunately they had smallpox, so it really didn't end up very good for me. I had to, I had to, they destroyed my land. I had no place, and another smallpox would definitely destroy me. And they played Drake. I already had only 2 cards. I did play my Chalice of the Void, but I feel kind of too late. They had Lana here, and I did draw my land, but unfortunately I didn't have a second untapped white choice. I couldn't kill the Liliana, and that definitely won the game for them. So They were also on 0 cards, and that prismatic ending would be so good, so I just had to concede here. I had no outs. I did in my last video of this deck, you can find it on my YouTube channel. In the video description, there's a sideboard guide, so you can check it out, and I will also copy paste it in the video description of this video, so you can check it out. So I don't have to. Um, that's cyber guard for just most common decks. But let's say for this for this 8 deck, um, I don't put in much. I just put my boseijus in. I put my force of vigors, and I think that's it. Um, I just removed some of my other lands, Forgotten Caves, and remove the one Omnath and one assault, one seismic assault, and that's it. Okay, so there's not much you can board here, but you also kind of don't need much. You just kind of need Vran, and to have cards in your to have a lot of cards in your hand to discard, and also life from the loam is very good. It constantly fills your hand with cards, and you never get damage from the wreck. And boseiju just wrecks them with Vren and life from the loam. They didn't have a smallpox early this game, so it's definitely much easier for me. I was able to start attacking with my scion. They did put needle on my Vran and drew smallpox. So I played endurance, but unfortunately they had fatal push for endurance, so I had to sack scion and endurance. But it's fine in this situation because I already used my Vran a lot of times. I have my life on the loam inside, so I just was able to play my scion and play the chalice. Oh my god, yeah, definitely misplayed very bad here. I just prismatic for one. In my head, I was leaving endurance, so I forgot about chalice for the moment. But it didn't really matter much because I had endurance in hand. I blocked Turak, Turak, and they conceded. They didn't have anything at this point. Yeah, but definitely a terrible punt. It will be too bad if I lost because of that. Because it ended up as a 5-0 league. Yeah, but sometimes very strange play from my opponent. They discard Slogurk here. Maybe they didn't have an answer, and Slogurk would give me a lot of potential lands back to hand, and also uh, also okay, so I just wanted to good clock. So I just wanted to play my loam, make sure I have enough lands, so I don't get pressured by it and destroyed by smallpox or something like that. And they did start making tokens. They did have Lily, and but I was pretty convinced I was going to win this with Vren and boseiju. So I just played my Scion to threaten Liliana next turn. Um, and I had my boseiju up. Also had Vren in hand, but they already had Needle. In this point, they had 2 wrecks, but I had my life from the loam in the graveyard, as I said. So I started destroying their stuff before it gets too dangerous for me. So I just attacked Liliana and destroyed their saga. And they had another one, but as I said, my life from the Loam helps here a lot to fight the wreck. So again, use my boseiju. I decided this time that I'll go for pitting needles so I can play my Vran and just start using the ability. Uh, they plus their Lily, and I was just able to use my uh, boseiju again, and again I didn't use it on token but on the rack. They drew another discard, so I had to unfortunately discard my cow, but I hold it force to kill their token this turn. Okay, so I just wanted to. Okay, you didn't see, but I actually milled my seasoned pyromancer. That's why I didn't play my life this turn, as I just wanted to create those two tokens end of turn so I can start attacking Lily. Um, and at this point, I was pretty safe. I was pretty safe because I had my chalice on one, so they can play their another the rack, and I had my life from the loam, so I had good engine to proceed you to start drawing some cards. Uh, they had a Turk here, which was like best card they could have, but I was able to play my endurance, which meant that I'd be able to block it and also my two tokens. Um, I had my life from loam, but I wasn't able to use much of these discards, so Turk doesn't get too large before I get something. And I did find my Omnath, so I was able to gain some life, which put me in a pretty good situation. My clock was kind of low, and I wasn't able to attack them, so I was waiting to draw a seismic assault. Uh, so I started attacking with my endurance, and they attacked with Turk, which helped me a lot, so I could attack with everything and just make my clock a bit better. Okay, so I did discard. I did draw discard with my territorial cow, boseiju their Mishra when they tried to block, and I drew my seismic assault, which I was waiting for. I was just able to play my assault here and win the game, which is very good because I was so low on clock. And that was it. That was the game 3. Just waiting for my assault, and when it came, I won the game. Okay, so game 2. Game 2, it was a Tron. I played first, so I was able to play my scion, to apply some pressure early, and drew into cow turn 2, which is very good. So it's a very good clock, and they didn't find the third land, so they conceded here. So their next turn would be expedition map for land, which would obviously be very bad. So and they would already be on solo on life, and they conceded. And I think game 2 they just conceded again. Uh, Yeah, they just conceded. I don't know why. We were chatting at this moment, and it didn't seem like they would concede, but they did. So I really don't know why that happened, but suddenly my opponent conceded, and that was it. Okay, so game three was Temur, some kind of Temur control. I really don't understand this ether vial. I really don't understand this vial in this deck. My opponent didn't play any creature in 3 games besides Ragavan and Snapcaster, and yet they played Ether Vial game 1, turn 1. Yeah, it was very weird. I don't really know what was that, but okay. So anyway, I played my Kavu. They countered it with Charm. Uh, I did have Loam and seismic, and decided not to play anything this turn. Just wasn't sure if my opponent was playing Blood Moon, so I really wanted to go for basic this turn and just make sure they don't Blood Moon me. So anyway, I played my Seismic. They didn't have counter, so I tried to play my Chalice, and it worked too. So I was able to just replay Chalice again, kill Ragavan, and with life from the Loam in graveyard, this game is pretty tough for them. I still didn't know what my opponent was really playing, just saw Ragavan and one counterspell. Okay, so they countered my life, but I was able to then to play my Slogurk, which is definitely very good with life from the Loam in graveyard and seismic assault on battlefield. So immediately milled 3 lands, grew my Slogurk to 6/6, so it's unkillable at this point. They had to counter this uh, because they would immediately die. I played another chalice on one just in case um, they kill this one, and that was it. At this point, nothing they can do. I mean, it's not nothing they can do, but definitely very hard for them with life from the Loam on battlefield and Slugger on in graveyard and Slugger on battlefield. They just had to counter life again, and the Slugger could just finish them off. Yeah, that was it. So game two. Uh, Game two, I kept a decent hand with Vren, seismic, scion, endurance. So all pretty good cards. Okay, so again, just having a good hand, having 2 seismic in hand, I wanted to go for Vren turn 2 and not Scion, and also get that basic forest because wasn't still sure if my opponent was playing Blood Moon. I didn't. I guess there wasn't because of their mana base look right now, but it's not impossible they could have it. So I just wanted to make sure I have my basic forest. So I played Vren turn 2 instead of my Scion. I was again in a pretty good situation, just holding endurance, holding dispute. Um, so I wanted to go endurance here, so in case They use counter here so I can play my seismic assault, have additional threat on the field. So I was able again to play my seismic and chalice on one. I don't know how good chalice is against them, probably not very good, but I did leave it on the battlefield. So they killed my scion and seismic, but I had another seismic in hand and drew another run. So I just replayed seismic, and I was again in a pretty good situation, just plussing my run, uh, having charm in the battlefield means I can cycle it every turn, and it's just a pretty good situation when you're playing against control with seismic run on the battlefield. Okay, so I just started using my Triumph to cycle, and they did have boseiju for my seismic, but I didn't have life from the Loam anyway, so it didn't matter that much. Teferi unfortunately didn't get through, but that was still pretty good, so I decided to play Endurance immediately. So I removed their graveyard in case they have a Snapcaster later, something like that. They were also on 8 life, so it was pretty important for me to start attacking as soon as possible. Yeah, this is definitely weird. My opponent didn't respond um, to run because they probably wanted to attack Ran, and that was the reason they wanted to let me attack them with endurance, so they can attack Ran, so I can't ulti Ran. But I had terminate for their endurance, and they conceded. So that was it. Mm, okay, so game 4 was Amulet Titan. I had a bit. I removed Assualt from my sideboard, so I had a little problems with Titan, and all three leagues lost to Titan. Uh, so I definitely wanted to. Okay, sorry, my kid woke up, so I had to pause and start over this game. Okay, so I was playing first, and I was able to cast my territorial cow to apply some pressure. Also had boseiju run in hand for their dryad and stuff. Fortunately, they didn't have a dryad, and they just found a castle this turn. Uh, I played my Ren and was preparing next turn for to put my Salt into field. So I just luckily they didn't have a Titan this turn because they found Castle. I don't know why, but it worked out good for me. They had 3 amulets, so Seismic Assault was doing a pretty good job here. Mm, I had some pressure in Cowl, and I was able to kill their threats with Assault. Uh, okay, so they went for, of course, haste here, and I waited for them to find their lands first before killing Titan. They didn't have green or blue mana to cast Talaria Drea this turn, so I was pretty safe. Drew another land with for turn, so I did a discard draw with Kawu and draw Chalice, which is Okay, here, but they had another Titan from hand. And I was also able to kill the Titan again with 3 lands in my hand. Also ran to get back my boseiju next turn. So I was in okay situation, uh, especially with the chalice on the field, and they already cast 2 Titans. So I was in okay situation, but of course a third Titan from hand would definitely be a problem here. So I decided to just go do discard draw first and drew into life from the Loam, which is definitely the best draw here and immediate kill without even using the Wren, and that was it. So pretty good hand game 1. And game 2, I just a second. I brought in terminate, force of vigors, Assualts, and boseijus. As I said, you can find a sideboard guide against most relevant matchups in the video description. So I had the ending for their turn 1 Amulet, which was pretty important for this specific game. And so I decided to go boseiju their grill turf this turn, so I slowed them down a bit. They had explore, so I didn't really do much, but I still think the boseiju and grill turf was definitely the best play here. Okay, so they only had 4 mana here, so it's not. Um, I thought that it's impossible for them to play Titan. This turn I played the Kawu last turn, and this turn I was able to play my Ashiok and hold the Terminate, and my opponent conceded on Ashiok because I had a lot of damage and Terminate in hand, so it was over for them. Okay, so pretty good hand turn game 1, and game 2 drew into good hate against Amulet, so that was it. Okay, so we'll check out the last game. The last game was Prowess, which is a pretty good deck at the moment. I kept just a stomping ground and cave, but I drew into Scalding Tarn. I was playing second, so chances for drawing into fetch in 2 turns is decent, so I decided to keep that. Okay, so I decided to fetch for 3 here. If I didn't do that and just fetch the basic, I would definitely win this game. Because that one damage was very relevant, as you will see. Okay, they also had a very good hand, iterations, Sprite Dragon, Channeler, a lot of bubbles, a lot of surveilling. Okay, so but I was still on 11 life, and I had Omnath in hand, and I just thought I play cow this turn, try to hold on until Omnath hits the field, and I had the territorial cow as a blocker on the ground, so it was a decent situation for me. They put in Soulscar, and at this point I decided just to play my Scion as a blocker and tap land, so next turn I can go Omnath, fetch, and it would definitely put me in a very good situation. But as it turned out, My opponent had exactly lethal this game. I jumped Solskar, but I had mutagenic growth on channeler and lava dart, which with vapor snag was exactly lethal. So if I gone that for that basic there, it would definitely win me the game. I mean, probably. I will be in much better situation anyway. And game two, playing first is definitely much easier for me. What's happening? Okay, something happened, but I kept a hand. I'm again to 6, remove Fury from my second hand. I had a Cabo turn 2, 2 removals, which is a pretty decent hand against Prowess. Okay, so playing first also makes it a lot easier for me. I can play my Cabo first and to start attacking too, and then after that I play some removals and try to also be aggressive. They had a second land and bolt my Cabo to kill it, but it was decent for me because I had 2 removals in hand and they just sacked the land to kill my cow. So I also drew into Scion and I was able to block with my Scion, made them do some bad plays, but they had the growth. Unfortunately, so I just removed the channeler and was waiting for some top deck similar as my opponent. So I just put seismic assault into play, draw some lands, just waited with terminate and lands in hand. They did it at gust, but I decided to put my assault on the bottom as I had the fury in hand. So I decided it's best to just dump the assault on the bottom and play with the terminate fury hand and just play my fury. Also draw into endurance, which is definitely great in this position. That's probably why they decided not to return Chandler to their hand. My opponent drew another card and conceded the game. Okay, so for this matchup, I brought in 3 endurance and 2 terminates. So that's it. I think I brought in 1 terminate when playing second and 2 terminate first, sorry, and 2 terminates when playing second. So I just removed one of my assault. I think I removed the 3 Omnaths when playing second. As you could see, game 1 it was pretty slow, and so I decided to remove 3 Omnaths, 1 assault, and 1 more card. I think it was seasoned pyromancer. Okay. As I said, you will see a sideboard guide for most relevant matchups, but that doesn't include the prowess matchup because I just put a guide for about 7, 8 most relevant matchups that you most often see. Okay, so I decided to just go for Ren here, kill their channeler. Fortunately, opponent was stuck on 1 land, And playing a Vren means that they have to attack my Vren, which saves me a lot of life. They still didn't have land, so I was in a pretty good situation, just having my scion terminate. I decided to go. I decided to go terminate first and then play my scion next turn. Didn't want to lose scion to. Didn't want to lose it to bolt jump to block bolt, and unfortunately I played wrong land last turn, so I wasn't able to cast my scion last turn because I didn't even notice that I'm missing white mana. But anyway, it didn't really matter because the game was over. They've fallen behind too much, and I had two scions on the field, ran, and they really didn't have anything. So that was it. That was the league. Just a second, I'll go back to the list. Okay, so I'm pretty happy for this list. With this list, as I said, this season pyromancer is a flex spot. Sometimes I play third Slogurk, sometimes pyromancer, sometimes I had 25 lands, sorry, and sometimes I try out some different cards. It can be also like endurance or something you think will help with your metagame. Uh, okay, so that's it. It was a pretty weird league. Some weird matches. Game 2, my opponent conceding, uh, playing who played Tron. After we chatted for a while, and I thought we were about to start a game, and he suddenly conceded. Okay, but I had a bit of luck. Game 1 against Titan, and game 3 against Prowess. My opponent was mana screwed for a while, so that definitely helped a lot. But I usually should be very good against Prowess matchup with the Chalice of the Void main and just having access to prismatic endings, furies to kill the creatures they put in early. Also, Vren can be great, and Scion to block their flyer. Okay, that's it. Another league with Slogurk, Omnath, domain Loam. Yeah. Uh, okay, that's it for this time. And I didn't change list much, just one change, fourth seismic assault for second pyromancer in comparison to last posted list. But in meantime, I most of the time I played 4 assault, 3 sluggerks, and just for this league I just opted for 1 pyromancer. So that's it. Until next video.